Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I am telling you this: if I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. This podcast is, I'm really excited about this because this, for the first time ever, I am having my acquisition team on the podcast. I'm going to be peppering them with questions and really just showing the process from when we get a lead to converting that lead into a signed agreement to an opportunity for our company. Just to give some stats out there so everybody can kind of relate to where we're at. We're ending the third quarter of 2021, and we are just shy of $1 million in profit for the year, and we have another $400,000 that is pending. So we're looking at $1,382,000 in closed and pending for the year. We're looking to push that up to 1.5, 1.6, and really end the year strong. So it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Chad Coulter, Ryan Thornton, Junior Acquisition Manager for our team. Love you guys. Let's get started. Let's break this thing down.
Let's do it.
All right. So,
awesome.
Listen, we've got 9 people in our company. If you've ever counted them, okay? We've got 2 cold callers. We've got a texter. We've got Lisa, who is our VA in the Philippines, and then we got the 5 of us, right? We've got Chad, Ryan, me, Jackie, and Jeremy. The 5 people in the office on Fridays. We come in every Friday, but we work together in town here in Phoenix. The 5 of us. Why don't you explain what you do every day, Chad, and then we'll go to Ryan and kind of like get into this thing.
Yeah, so I am the lead follow-up guy. I basically bring in the leads that get sent to me from the cold callers, the texters that have at least given some type of motivation, condition, timeline, or price that has turned it into a legit lead. And so I get the information and I'll call and make 50, 60 dials a day, leaving voicemails, text messages, trying to get information and speaking with sellers to really kind of find out if they are motivated, if they have a condition, timeline, price, and really kind of build the rapport and build the trust with them as they go along. So when they start with me, it could take up within a day, or it could take 6 months. I've been here for a year, and so it could take 9, 12 months. And so I guess I just continue to call, follow up, whether it be every few days, every few weeks, few months, to just check in and say, hey, like, how are things going? How is your family? Like, how is your job? Do you need anything? Can I be a resource to you in any type of way and help solve their problems? That's what we're here for. And, I love talking to people all day long. So the sitting on the phone and on the computer isn't a torturous job for me. I enjoy it. And if the leads are ready to be sent over to Ryan, if they're ready to make a decision, within a month, I say a month or 2 max, to see if he can kind of shorten that timeline a little bit.
Right.
If it has a condition, or if their story adds up to, okay, this is a legit lead for us, or if their price point is right where we need it to be, or even close. I'm sending it to him, and I don't want to waste too much time on that lead because I'm confident in the ability that he can do and convert it into a contract.
Awesome. Ryan, what do you do?
Sorry, that was a lot.
No, it was amazing. Like I have to say, so Chad has been here for a year. His anniversary was just like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And so we started about the same time, and I'm looking at his notes and how he's talking to people over the last year, and it's been amazing how he's progressed on just the flow of his conversations, the right questions he's asking. The opening questions are so important, and then when I get to it, it's like, I mean, he just kind of tosses the ball up, and it makes it so much easier. So when you have somebody who can talk to people in that manner and set it up the way he does, it makes it so smooth.
Yeah. So really, the difference is you get them early in the process. Yep. You were working with them till their timeline is shortened, and when we look at our leads, the hot leads are like within the next month.
Right.
They're going to sign with somebody. They're going to make a decision. They're finally ready to sign, and because for most of our leads, they're coming from prospecting, right? They're coming from, we're catching them before they're really reaching out to all the different companies for an offer. So it takes a while. It takes that 90-day cycle typically. I mean, that's the average, but some of these go 6 months, a year, whatever else. You're staying in front of them. You're texting them, calling them, voicemailing them, just staying in front of them. So when they are ready to make a decision, you then pass them off to Ryan, right? So how do you, these people have been talking to you, building rapport with you. They know your voice. They know your phone number. How do you pass it off to Ryan where, they don't just disappear and ghost him as soon as you pass it over?
So typically if I'm transitioning a lead to Ryan, I'll give him a phone call and try to set an appointment, physical appointments to get him there. Cause I feel like that's his strong suit. And when he gets in front of people, his closing rate is way higher, obviously, as it should be. And when he's very, a personable guy. And so I try to get him in front of sellers. And if I can do that, I'll try to set an appointment around their schedule as soon as possible, right? Because, time kills all deals. And so we've had the conversations of, if I'll try to set an appointment a week out, but he's really tried to get me to as soon as possible, man, as soon as possible. So I'll try to go about that, not in a pressuring way, but in a sense of, hey, we want to get you, an offer as soon as possible. We're serious. We're buying properties all the time. And the quicker that we can get something together, the more flexible we are with our numbers. And so I'll try to set up an appointment. I'll say, okay, well, my manager, Ryan, he's going to give you a call.
Is it just manager? It's not like finance manager. It's not business partner.
I usually don't.
It's just manager.
Yeah, I usually don't like to say finance manager.
Right.
I kind of leave that to Jeremy, so that way he can use that, as going forward. So I usually just say manager.
Oh, that's an interesting point. So Jeremy is our disposition manager, and he's the one comping it, coming up with the buy numbers, coming up with the what a lot of people refer to as an MAO, a max allowable offer. And so you're leaving that open so that Ryan can still leave a little bit of room to negotiate and be like, listen, I'm on your side, but I need to talk to the finance guy.
Exactly.
So you're not going there yet.
No,
that is huge. That is huge.
I don't like to throw that out because I like to let him use that leverage to be able. Okay, well, let me go back to my finance guy and see if we can pull a little harder. So, but I'll give him Ryan.
Do you feel like, do you run into, and I think that this is the fear of a lot of people is, well, if you're passing it on and you're not the manager, why am I talking to you? Like, you know what I mean? Do owners feel that way, or have you built in enough of a relationship where they're just like, it doesn't matter?
I think it kind of comes down to their motivation, and people that are motivated, if you actually come off as, like you want to try to help solve their problem and actually care about what's going on in their life, they're going to open up to you and they're going to be vulnerable and they're going to tell you about what's, the situation that they're kind of trying to work through. And so if you can listen and be an active listener and, be there for them and try to help them in any way possible, I think that earns a lot of trust and rapport. So
love it. And then when it comes to you,
I mean, it's essentially like just building off of what he's already started. Like you got
all the notes.
All the notes. We already know that they're wanting to sell. We already have an idea most times of what their price point is, the condition of the house. And it's really just a matter of me sitting in front of them going, hey, what are your goals? What is it that you want
love
to
that
do?
you go with that. And we talk about it on the live show that you come into monthly, or try to get you on monthly, asking the question, what is your goal with this property?
Right.
I think it's such a brilliant question because it's open-ended and it's very positive. You know what I mean? It's not like you're putting a positive twist on this really stressful situation.
A big deal.
You're not saying, why are you selling? What if you were to rank, your motivation to sell this from 1 to 10? This is listen, people have trained, people that say this to people for years. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how fast do you want to sell it, or how motivated are you to sell it? Like, what is your goal? That's a way better question.
I want it to be, it's their idea.
Right.
Like the whole process is their idea. So if they haven't thought about what they're really trying to get out of the whole transaction, I want that to be something that they put into, into the world. What are your goals? Oh, well, I want as much money as possible. Absolutely. And that's what I'm here for. What else?
And then it just goes.
And then it's more of, I've talked about this before when you've had me on. Sit them down. Sit them down. Get those goals. Get what those pain points.
Before you walk the house.
Before you walk the house.
Right?
Yeah.
So you show up at the door. Chad's been talking to him for 82 days,
Yep.
sets the appointment with you. You show up. Have you usually talked to him before you go there, or you just show up?
Sometimes I'll show up. I'll text or I'll call to confirm that the appointment. So
Yep.
hey, so I'm Ryan, Chad, that whole deal. But as soon as I show up, the one thing they want to do is show you the place, show you the
Yeah.
house. But
Because nobody knows. You're like, okay, somebody's here.
yeah, what do I do?
I guess we'll just do this, right?
Yeah. So ask them. It's like, hey, do you have a second to just kind of chat a little bit, and then we have time. I'll walk around and see the house, but let's figure out how to do this properly.
And one thing that you just did, and I love it, when they say as much as possible, there is so much power when you confirm and approve what they're saying.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean? If you start going, well, I don't know if I'm going to be the best offer. I don't know if I can get you the most money. If I don't, whatever else, all of a sudden you start causing friction.
For sure.
All of a sudden it starts going goofy, right? And then all of a sudden you're sitting on one side of the table, they're sitting on the other, when you guys should be sitting side by side.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to understand, whenever someone's selling their house, it's a life-changing type of deal. It's a big deal. And the last thing that they feel comfortable with is pushback.
Yeah.
And so obviously you have to do what you need to do that makes sense. But as soon as you start pushing, they're going to start either pushing back or backpedaling.
Yeah.
And so if you can avoid any of that, that's how open, comfortable conversations happen.
Yeah.
Where, okay, he is here for me.
Yeah.
This is going to be okay. Yeah.
And something that I've used from him is just like being that resource, right? Looking at the different options that they have. And I like to bring that up. And I think that really kind of gives them confidence that you are there for them, kind of like what he was saying. So I've tried to been using that a lot more lately. And I feel like I've built even more rapport from doing so.
Love it. Love it. So on a weekly basis, you're getting anywhere from 30 to 50 new leads, right? And so it's coming in, and these are quality. You know, Jackie's our quality control.
Yep.
Jackie Thornburg, she's our lead manager. And so the leads come in, she takes a look at them, makes sure that they're good. If not, she'll kick them back.
Yep.
To our prospectors, and then they filter to you.
Yep.
When you get that alert, how quick are you to do you review the notes and then you call? Like, what happens from
sure.
that?
Well, it kind of just depends on where it comes from. So, right, I mean, I'll look over the information that we've gotten from either our texter or our cold caller, and look at the pillars that they've gotten so far.
Right.
And then I'll look at the outside of the house, the picture, the comps, maybe if they've thrown out a price point, and that'll kind of determine the information that I have, determine how fast I get to it. Like if the house looks like it's really distressed from the outside, well, then that's right away. If their price point, if I just click on the MLS and just kind of look and see, and if I think if there's even a shot, that's right away. If there's not a ton of information, those ones get pushed back a little bit, but I'm still trying to get on them within the first day.
Right. Okay.
Get 'em
So
started.
they come in and you're on it the first day. You're trying to get a hold of them. You're trying to like at least build some sort of dialogue with them. Make sure you're confirming what the notes say, because sometimes the notes come in a little goofy and they don't want to sell,
Exactly.
or that there's some
especially the text leads. It's kind of hard to filter through those. So you want to just try to get them on the phone and then just kind of go over like, are you even interested in selling at this point, right? To try to get that. So
well, and I think this is really important because I think when a lot of people are starting in our business, they're doing it part-time, right? They're trying to they're working this business as a side hustle to become their main business. In their mind, in their hearts, this is their full-time job. But the placeholder is this is their current 9-to-5, their current income that they're making. So a lot of people hire VAs or hire people that are texting or text a little bit, and then these leads come in. So I think it's really important for everybody to really understand your process, because it's really important to get on these leads right away. If you've got somebody else that is prospecting for you and you're not doing it yourself, you have to get in there and start building that relationship as quick as possible. Because they could change their mind. They could somebody else could call in. They could start calling other people and start getting other bids. I mean, the hottest leads that we have go really fast.
For sure.
And those are typically, we've started turning on the web and the pay-per-click leads and Facebook leads. Talk to me about how those have been for you guys.
Go ahead.
Usually if they're looking to us.
Yeah.
They find us.
Mm-hmm.
The leads are usually going to be pretty quality.
Yep.
Now, obviously, we still have to filter through those as far as price because everybody.
When you say quality, when you say quality, you mean fast.
Yes.
They want to make a decision fast.
Yes.
They're now at that point. If people are reaching out to you, which is expensive,
Yep.
I mean, it's way more expensive than we pay for prospecting. But if they come to us, they're ready to make a decision.
Right. Yes.
Typically.
So you automatically assume that timeline is shorter.
Right.
And then you have to go through the price.
Yep.
Right. And that's usually something.
And every time a lead comes in from pay-per-click or from Facebook, everybody gets a notice.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Are you typically the first one to get a hold of them?
I'd say 90.
Is everybody kind of deferring to you and like, did you get that? Or do you just jump on it or what?
He's usually pretty good.
Okay.
To say, hey, I got that. Hey,
It's
I
like
got that.
90
So you're on a group chat.
Yes,
I got it.
Yep. So 95% of the time, I'll grab it. If I can't, then he'll call.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we'll just kind of go from there. I mean, if it's ready that day, then I'll set up the appointment, make sure it's cool with his schedule, and then we'll roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
We share a calendar. So
Yeah.
he can look in my calendar to see, if I have anything going on, and then he can schedule it off of that.
Like golfing or, what,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put a block. Yeah. Don't schedule appointments during.
Yeah. Jeez, I got it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. So anyway, the leads come in. How important is it to get on them right away?
I mean, time kills all deals.
Time kills all deals. Absolutely.
Especially marketing.
Yes.
Especially things
Yeah.
coming
Paying
from
for
the
that.
yeah.
You're paying for that. So if you are not picking that up right away, you're basically throwing money
Right.
Yeah.
out the
Especially
door.
being in Phoenix in such a competitive market. I mean,
Yeah.
they're talking to people. People are calling them. They're reaching out to other people. It's really the person that can get there the fastest is usually going to have a good chance of winning.
And
Right.
I think we have the best chance.
Yeah.
Our approach from the very beginning is that, hey, I heard you want to sell your house. How much do you want for it?
Right.
Which I honestly, because time is so fleeting for people who are doing part-time and all this,
Yeah.
they hey, okay. But if you slow yourself down a little bit and make yourself memorable, which is what I think Chad does.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes people want to work with us.
Yeah.
That keeps people on the hook because, I heard from all these other guys, but I had this conversation with these people and I feel comfortable with them. And that goes a long way.
And it's just, is this something that you have, that you think has evolved these conversations over the last year? Do you feel like you're more comfortable with it? Is there certain things that you say that maybe you could share with anybody that certain questions or maybe the tone of your voice or the pace or, you say ma'am and sir more than anybody that I know, but that's, I mean, there's that charm to it. That's that, what is it? Arkansas to North Dakota to now Phoenix. Right.
Yep. It's I don't know what referring to that. It's just kind of how I was grew up or raised in Arkansas. Is kind of and anybody from the South can attest to that. It's just kind of what you do, and out of respect to your older people, your parents,
everybody,
teachers, anyone, and so that's kind of something that has stuck with me, from my parents enforcing it, and so I try to implement that in my phone calls, and every once in a while I actually get a seller who actually compliments that, and really kind of appreciates the way that I speak with them. And I'm a pretty soft-spoken guy. I'm not super loud or super. I mean, you have to have energy on the phone, but at the same time, you don't want to blow their ear off,
right?
And you want to be able to kind of sit back and hear what they're having to say as well. And so I would say just kind of when the biggest thing is timeline, especially to try to move over to him. I just really try to hone in on when they're looking to make a decision. And because obviously the numbers are changing every day as the market is changing. And so we just want to make sure that when you're ready, we have the most accurate and best offer for you at that time. And that really kind of hones in on, okay, well, I'm not really ready to make a decision for, a few weeks or a couple months. And that's helped me a lot. And also just having conversations with him each week, and we probably have a couple phone calls a week, texts, and he's kind of helping me hone in on my skill, right? And
A couple calls just to
us too.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys are communicating all day long. You guys are texting. You're just saying getting on the phone, talking about a specific lead or talking about whatever.
Yeah. So just more so me and him talking about a lead, talking about questions that I could or should ask. And that's helped me a lot through this past year. And it's obviously shown.
Yeah. How important is listening to what they're actually saying back?
It's like the most important.
It's the only thing, right?
If you're there for the purpose of serving them and helping them, like you have to listen to what they're wanting to do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people struggle with the most, because they feel like they need to be selling themselves.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I do. 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 Instead of going, okay, well, what do you need me to do? You know, and so it's really important to be able to listen thoroughly, ask open-ended questions,
Right.
Yep.
and just let them talk. And if you got to, take some notes or whatever it is, then do that. And then, well, I heard you talk about this.
Yeah.
And then go down the list of what they said and then hit all those points. And it's so important.
Yeah.
It is.
So what happens when you run across the person that's like they have their force field up? It's the first time that you're going over there. They're kind of like, you're asking them questions. They're not really, feeling it. You know what I mean? And this happens on the phone too.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to get to the bottom of it, but they're kind of like, just give me the offer. Just give me the offer. Just give me the offer. How do you get around that? You know what I mean?
I preempt it with,
Okay.
Do you know how this process works? Everybody is tradition. They know a traditional sale.
Yeah.
Work with the realtor. You listen on the MLS. You have showings. Yes, you know about that. So are you familiar with the process of cash investors and the difference? Well, no. What's the difference? And then you walk them through that. So you kind of educate them of, okay, this is what I do. This
Here's
is
the
the
benefits.
difference. Here are the benefits.
Yes.
And here's the process. And then they're like, oh, okay. And that slows them down as far as what's going to happen next, because they already have an idea.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Well, then what do you need me to do? Well, you tell me what you need me to do.
Right.
Type of deal.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So from the leads, you're doing all the heavy lifting. I mean, how many honestly, how many, because you're hand dialing, how many hand dials are you make in a day on average?
I like to stay between 50 and 60.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's been when I can sit down, and this year's been incredibly busy with getting married and traveling so much, but I feel like if I can sit down for
We'd be at 2 million if you weren't
Yeah.
messing around.
Yeah, it's so lazy.
We got to turn things on and off based on
know.
Chad's schedule. What are we doing, Ryan?
the
What are we doing?
honeymoon. I mean, I really feel if I sit down for like 2 weeks in a row and dial 50, 60 times a day, then we'll have like 4 or 5 contracts
Yep.
coming in,
Yep.
and we've seen that. And
Yep.
so I do the front loading stuff like you said, and so if I can just do my part, make those dials and be consistent with it, then success will come for everybody.
Awesome.
And it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to sit and dial 60 times,
Yeah. No.
I don't know what I'd do with myself.
Right.
I need to be out. I need to like be in front of people. I need to be
Well, and that's the point. That's a beautiful thing. If you
really
look
is.
at how many leads do you need to have to hit the financial goals that we have as a team, it's impossible for one person to handle it all.
Yeah.
So you have 2 options. Do you have 2 full-time acquisition managers, or do you have a role where you have a setter, essentially you, that's
Yep.
going through and fit and setting up all of these leads and appointments?
Yep.
And then Ryan goes to close. So it's been really smooth because I've had it both ways. I've had multiple acquisition managers, and then I've had this, and this has been so much more smooth because your superpower is going and closing, being in front, being out in the streets, driving around,
Right.
knocking on doors of people that are trying to ghost us or whatever else. And you're essentially just pounding the phones at home. I mean, you go on some of these appointments when they want to see you, or if it's close to your house or whatever else. But for the most part, you're just setting them up to win.
Yep.
I mean, you're just assisting them.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it.
there's no what I do without what he does.
Right.
It's
Right.
not even close.
I love it. So I just wanted to bring you guys in here and do
Yeah.
the podcast, kind of explaining what that relationship looks like, because I think, when most people listening to this are just getting started out, or they're getting their first few deals going through, the big scary, it's not so much that lead generation is that scary. People understand that. They know that if you talk to enough people, you're going to find opportunities.
Yeah.
It's the conversion. It's
Yeah.
I have never done sales before.
Sure.
I was a teacher. I was a doctor. I was a truck driver. I was an engineer. I was in the military. I haven't had a lot of experience selling homeowners or property owners, right? But what it really comes down to is making sure that you pre-qualify them.
Yep.
you lead follow-up, and you have a
Exactly.
great offer presentation where you go and you really find out what their goal is and get the contract signed.
And like
Right?
any new skill,
Yeah.
any new skill,
just takes time.
It takes time, and you have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I love someone told me, take imperfect action.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you wait for the perfect time to do something, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're going to do it so slow that those deals are going to pass you by. So if you have the time and you're really dedicated to this, take imperfect action, go to those houses, fumble through it, and then eventually it's just
Yeah.
gonna
You'll see
it's gonna
results.
click.
Yeah.
You'll see results.
Love it. So give some advice to somebody starting out that is, they've got some leads and they're really excited to get their first contract signed. How do they shorten the timeline? How do they get their first contract signed up?
That's probably you. Shortening timeline.
Shortening timeline is it's more so of what their goals are. Like, what are you looking to do? Oh, I want to move closer to family, or I need to move north, or I have health issues, or all those things. So being able to nail down what their true motivation is going to give you a better idea of what their timeline is.
Love it.
Yeah.
And obviously, we want to shorten timeline, but within reason. It's
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
No, but listen, we're deal finders. We're not
Yeah.
deal creators.
Right.
That's the absolute fact. Don't you? I mean, would you guys
Absolutely,
agree
for
with
sure.
that?
For sure.
We're not going to go in there and convince somebody with our wizardry and our
No, yeah.
smooth talking and our silky, buttery, closing techniques. That's not real life.
buttery.
Buttery,
He is good.
who doesn't like butter? I don't, maybe it's a bit. Whatever.
But yeah, no, absolutely. But with that being said, you want to make sure that you really do get to that true motivation.
Yep.
Because if you leave out timeline because, oh, well, I don't know, like somebody else is going to call them the next
Oh,
day
yeah.
and they're going to get a deal because they really got that true motivation
Yeah.
down to the wire and said, well, hey, I want to help you and I can help you within these parameters because this is what's going on with the market.
Love
So, there's all these little fine tuning things, but just asking the right questions is really going to get you a lot more.
Love it. Let's break down a deal real quick,
Okay.
because that's what we do on this show.
what we do.
That's what we do. Let's talk about the Litchfield Park, right? That's a great deal, right?
Yeah.
I think. Well, we won't reveal what we're making on it yet.
Yeah.
But where did we get that lead?
It was a Facebook lead.
Facebook lead.
Or a web lead of some kind. Yep.
I think it was Facebook.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, if you need, I hesitate to give you this because I don't want them to get too overrun with people, but the Bateman Collective is who we use. Bateman Collective, they're phenomenal, and actually it was the first. I mean, these have been
Yeah.
really good leads. I mean, these have been phenomenal leads. So if you are at that point, what I would say is, if you're going to get into web, if you're in a major market, you need at least a minimum $15,000 for your budget a month to really build traction. If you're in a smaller market, you can start with $3,000 to $5,000. But mention TTP with Bateman, and he'll hook you up. There you go.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so it came in on a Monday, actually, the day after the day I started back after my honeymoon, and was just trying to get back into the swing of things, and it probably came in at 9:30. And so I called right away, didn't get anything, left a voicemail, sent a text, called again at 11:30, and he answered. And we started having this long conversation, and already found like multiple things we were kind of clicking on and talking about, and got all the pillars. And he's like, I need to get out of here ASAP. And I said, okay, well, are you ready to put something together today? And it was 15 minutes from my house, and Ryan lives on the east side. So I was like, do I have him come in like an hour and 15 minutes over here? Or do I just go?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just going to go. And cause the numbers were like, I mean, it could be a deal if I couldn't get it down any lower. And I was like, I'm just going to go. He's been pushing me to get out with him and go on appointments and get in front and just become more comfortable. And it was kind of like imperfect action, like he was saying. And we talked about it after I got it done. I went out there and we probably sat at his table for like 20 minutes, just talking about life before we even looked at the house, walked through, got, videos and pictures. And then we sat down at the table. He showed me all of his cool collectibles and stuff. And we started talking, and he's like, man, if you can get to this number today, like, I'm ready. So I said, hey, we're really kind of at this number, anchored him a little bit. And he's like, well, I need to, hear out other offers. And so I said, okay, well, let me step outside and just make a quick call to my finance guy and see if we can pull. So I went out and called Jeremy and had him run it just one more time. He's like, hey, we can make something out of this. And so I said, okay. So I walked back in and I said, I'm a terrible negotiator. I got my guy to pull up, but we got to put something together today or he's going to rip me. And he said, okay, let's do it. He said, you got the paperwork? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, let's fill it out. And we filled it out. And, the rest is history.
And so what did you lock it up for? Did you even touch it at all?
No, not at all.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
No, not at all.
I know. I was
That's
like,
why you're laughing.
you got to bring this one up.
I was just gonna.
Yeah, Ryan's crushing. Yeah, Ryan the closer. Yeah.
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't have done it without him, right?
No.
I couldn't be more prouder. Honestly.
Yeah, I know.
Because I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like I'm trying to get him on appointments because
Yeah.
that's going to just give him a better idea of just some of the questions I ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, in the future, he's going to have his own
gonna have his
$1
own
million
thing. Yeah.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it.
Yeah.
So you got it locked up for how much?
310.
$310, and we
sir.
sold it for how much?
377.
$377, making
$67K.
ring the bell.
So this is the second time that Chad has just gone on an appointment and just pulled this huge spread.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I love
the first one was how much?
like 90.
92, right?
Yeah,
92, 91.
So I have this. This. I think what happens is the ones that are like hard, and like
Right.
maybe it's not a
Right.
big deal. He'll give to me.
Yeah.
But the ones that are like, I'm gonna take this one.
All right, yeah. You're like the starting quarterback, and they like put in the kid to get some experience, so that the team can progress, and he comes in and just throws bombs.
Throws bombs.
Yeah, just throws bombs.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
I feel like I'm just
That's
looking
awesome.
on the sideline going,
Awesome.
damn, that was such a good throw. Damn, another good.
Oh man, awesome.
Right.
Well,
love it.
congrats,
Yes.
guys. I love you both.
Love you.
Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show.
For sure.
Anybody out there, listen, here's the deal. Every Friday we get together that's when we do our team meetings. We come into the office. We've got 3 TTP family members, 3 TTP students out there that get to be around these guys and really ask them the questions and really get into the nitty gritty, boots on the ground, in the trenches, information and instruction and tips and hacks and everything that helps these guys be as successful as they are and as efficient as they are. So if you are interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. It is the #1 coaching program on planet Earth for wholesaling. It's wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Go check it out. Check out all the testimonials. Check out what it is about. If it feels good in your gut, make sure that you sign up for a call. I look forward to working with you personally. And that's it, guys. Thanks for being on here.
Thanks, brother.
And
Thanks for
for
having us.
everybody out there, I encourage you, as always, to go out there and talk to people. Till next time. Love you guys. See ya.